Well, it just may go further beyond what Hillary Clinton might be charged with. She might be charged with treason. She might be charged with treason. I'm going to get onto something here where it's not even conjecture, but as far as like what she will be charged with, she may be charged with treason. Now, the thing is, will the Department of Justice act upon this? I'd say no. No. But I want to bring out something else about her email server, whatever you want to call it, or the emailing of classified information. Like, for instance, Hillary Clinton was given a special BlackBerry phone that was totally secure for State Department, communications. And she didn't want to use it. She decided to consciously use a private email server. Now, some people don't really get what the hell that means exactly. I know, like, you could say it's unsecure or whatever, but you have to actually, you can't take something off the highly secure State Department email communications system and just forward it to a private email server. It doesn't work like that. Like when you forward your email, you could say, I'm going to forward this email to somebody. You can't do that in the State Department highly classified, secure email system. It doesn't work like that at all. What you have to do is print out the actual email from the State Department server. Then you have to scan it, and then you have to OCR it, and then you have to put that information, the OCR'd, the information, copy the OCR'd information from the printed copy of the classified email server from the State Department, scan it, OCR it, copy it, then paste it into a private email server, then email it. In other words, it takes a series of steps. You just can't forward something from a highly secure State Department server and just so I'm going to forward this information onto the other email server. It doesn't work like that. You can't do it. So actually what Hillary Clinton had done was she had an entire group or some department whose job it was to actually take all the security off of the classified information. And, it's almost like retype. I guess you could retype it. That's another way of doing it. But you would print it out, take that printed copy of the document, scan it, then OCR it, and then you can copy it and paste it onto another email server. That's exactly what was going on. There's absolutely no way you can just transfer it electronically directly from the highly secure State Department servers. So, it's a little bit more than just I was using an email server and I didn't know. Now, and why was this being done? If you just put simple 2 and 2 together, there was a lot of information in communications that she was using that were likely for personal benefit. Like the entire Clinton Foundation. Like there's a limit on how much you can be, how much can come into your coffers for political contributions, but there's no limit to really what can come into foundations. So like the Clinton Foundation itself is being used as a front for political contributions, but this all goes way back with these people. This was Bill Clinton was corrupt, and she's right in with the team there. Was corrupt when he was an attorney general. Then he got elected 5 times as governor for the state of Arkansas. A lot of people, some people I talked to that said they knew a lot of people in Arkansas, said they didn't understand how this guy was being reelected every time. And maybe it was voter fraud what was going on. As a matter of fact, everybody that was around Bill Clinton at that time, and I know I'm talking about Hillary Clinton, but she's a partner in crime. Everybody that was involved around Bill Clinton including the state governor of Arkansas. They all went to jail except for Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton lost his attorney's license, but he's on a speaking engagement fee, the speaking circuit. They're supported financially by contributions and speaking fees. Sexually, actually, like Bill Clinton is very much a predator, sexual predator and rapist, but Hillary Clinton is also. They're partners in crime. Like when Jennifer Flowers was one time, she communicated to Bill Clinton that, did you know that your wife was possibly having an extramarital affair with a woman? And Bill Clinton laughed his ass off when he heard that. He says, she's probably eaten more snatch than I have. That's what he said to Jennifer Flowers, according to her. Way back when. Now, I think Hillary's going down this time, not just, sexually I'm talking about, but politically, because when I saw George Soros pull support from her to go to Bernie Sanders and have his whole Move On organization get behind Bernie Sanders instead of Hillary Clinton, I say, well, maybe there is too much heat on her. But it's going to be a little bit more than, just moving carelessness with classified information. It's going to be she's probably going to be charged with high treason because it took a conscious effort. It took a team conscious effort. In other words, her aides were all involved in this and everything else. So, I don't know exactly. I can pretty much conjecture. Guess exactly what's going on with why she did this. I know it's for personal benefit, 101, but maybe it's for political contributions. But then again, she became a more or less hardcore Marxist when she went into college. So has Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton actually, in the dead of winter, traveled to Moscow alone. Actually, with I forgot what year that was. That's old information. But I think they're actually Marxist operatives. That's what these people really are. And yes, they take their marching orders from Wall Street. And yes, actually, the entire Bolshevik Revolution was financed by Wall Street in the United States, mainly. But, that's not the American way. It's the crooks on the top. That's what they're pushing. Complete and total control. And these are the administrative assistants, you'd actually call them, of the implementers of the total control of the American population. But she may be charged with high treason. It looks pretty solid. Like, in other words, if you figure you're the FBI and you got to actually forward this over to the Department of Justice for action, and you're thinking, well, what are they going to do? You might as well throw everything there is out there, because it's going to get some publicity, and maybe some of the people that are, not waking up yet, because there's still a significant number of people out there for Hillary Clinton. And I can honestly say, I look at the other candidates, I think they're all full of it. I mean, I already told many times, expressed my opinion on Trump. I think, maybe he's acting right-wing conservative right now, and maybe too right-wing conservative with his, advocating the Patriot Act be reinstated and spying on Americans. He's even talking about that now because of the Muslim threat, quote-unquote. But, I don't know where the hell he's coming up with these positions, because he was basically a liberal not that many years ago for most of his life. I mean, a real liberal. The other thing is, I could also say with somebody like Ted Cruz, is supposedly Tea Party. His wife works for Goldman Sachs, and he's accepted a lot of contributions from Goldman Sachs, and even Ted Cruz, supposedly Tea Party Ted Cruz, is for the Trans-Pacific Partnership, which is going to basically destroy jobs in the United States, despite what they're telling you. And there's a lot of other analysts out there. Separate subject. But, so for some few people that actually see this video and they're still, on the side of Hillary Clinton, I can tell you that, really, they're pretty much all screwed up. But when you're looking at Hillary Clinton, she's in a league by herself, because she's gone umpteen steps beyond You know, when I look back at what happened in Watergate with Tricky Dick, you know, with Richard Milhouse Nixon, that is so minute compared to what's going on today. Oh, the Watergate plumbers. Oh, you know, they broke into the, you know, stole information for political gain. You know, on the Democrats, and he obstructed justice. That guy, there's not here. You got a multiple body count involved around the Clintons and the Bushes, of course. So, I mean, if the American public's kind of looking at it like this cat, you know, behind the drywall, like, gee, what's going to happen? Nobody's really doing that much. They're not, you know, actively freaking trying to, you know, push their representatives to do something about it. For the most part, most people are not. But, you know, it does look like, I think the Clintons have burned so many bridges around with people around them. Like, for instance, even Chelsea Clinton, there was some fundraiser just recently. It was basically a dud. They needed like 60 people to pay like $2,700 each. She couldn't even get that. She couldn't even get to 60 people, even with all the celebrity endorsements. So I think a lot of people are getting sick of the Clintons. But I have to really leave you with this thought, because, you know, it's beyond the Clintons. It's way beyond this. We got a type of rot in our society, and it comes from, like, you take her she's a perfect example, Hillary Clinton. She comes out, you know, she goes to college. You know, she starts off college. She's originally a Goldwater girl. She's a Barry Goldwater conservative for, you know, true American traditions and all this type of stuff. And she goes to college, and then she gets turned into this Marxist advocate. And, you know, of course, you know, she has this split up with Daddy over it somewhat. But did Daddy, like, pull the rug on her? No. Pull the rug out from under her? No. Not at all. And I could say that many of her staunchest supporters in the United States, you know, have fathers that are conservative, and their daughters are little spoiled missy that are all pushed in, because this bitch never really did anything. You know, she failed her bar exam the first time she tried to pass it. She couldn't even get a job in Arkansas after she finally passed her bar exam to be an attorney. She couldn't even get a job in Arkansas until Bill Clinton became Attorney General. And basically, she's been riding on the coattails of Bill Clinton. She was the co-president, you know. And they're both sexual predators and partners in crime. She basically, you know, slam dunked the one that accused Bill Clinton of raping her years ago. She's covered up for Bill Clinton many times, because actually she's a sexual predator herself. You know, these are pretty strong words, but I think everybody ought to notice by now, for crying out loud. If you don't notice, it's not the truth what I'm even telling you right now. You've been born under a rock, because this has been going on for freaking not only decades, but generations. These are freaking senior citizens on the way out right now, the Bill and Hill show, and they're still getting away with it. You know, and actually when I look at the major media, they're still talking like Hillary Clinton is still the front runner for the presidency. I'm also going to tell you this, because even though she's probably going to get charged with high treason, you know, beyond just, you know, carelessness of communicating classified information, but much stronger than that. She's probably going to get charged with high treason. But she's not. I'm really thinking that, you know, she's not going to go down that easily. And I think that maybe, I said this before, I think despite what people want to hear, because, you know, Donald Trump has actually changed his tune drastically over the last few years from what he's talked about for the last 2 decades. Because if Trump wanted to, if he was really sincere the way he is now, if he wanted to, if he would have gave just a little bit of his money exposing the Clintons back in the 90s, they could have been sunk a long time ago. But it's only now. I'd almost guarantee you Trump is not going to get the Republican nomination. I don't give a shit if he's got 75% of the vote. And you might say that's because they're rigged on the top with the Republicans. Well, yeah, they are. But the thing is, you just can't have somebody like that running for president with zero background where you don't know which way you really voted. When you're actually in the political arena, I mean, yeah, maybe you don't need to be a politician to run the country per se, right? But it's good to know how you've been voting, what your voting record was for the last 20 years or 10 years or what. And, in the case of Trump, he's been a Democrat for most of the time. The other thing is, I've never seen, you see, even with Hillary Clinton, her and Obama don't get along. They don't, right? They're competition. There's competition between her and Sanders. They don't slam each other as much as Trump slams the rest of the Republican field. I'm kind of throwing this out here because I'm seeing something I think a lot of people don't see, and that is why if she doesn't get slammed legally, she's got a pretty good damn shot of being president. But I'm thinking she's getting very close to being slammed legally because Bloomberg is talking about running, because if she gets slammed legally, Bernie Sanders is going to be the front runner, and Bloomberg wants Bernie Sanders to get behind him. Bernie Sanders, even though he's a commie, whatever you want to say, right, he is, right, he would actually go after Wall Street. Hillary Clinton is the Wall Street candidate. But the one that they really always wanted in Wall Street, with the one they always really wanted, but he didn't really want to run, was Michael Bloomberg. You see what I'm saying? So if she gets a little bit too much on her, and it looks that way, because Soros, I don't give a shit what all these, the FBI says and all this kind of garbage. Soros pulling his support from her tells me she's got too much crap on her, and she's going to be going down. Just the fact that if the FBI recommends that she's indicted or whatever she's indicted for, I don't know all these legal terms, right? She's indicted for treason. That's going to blow her away politically, even if nothing happens, because that's going to be a major news story everywhere. And because you're going to say, why are you indicted for treason? Well, you consciously had to take classified emails off the State Department servers. You had to print them, scan them, OCR them, then upload that information onto a separate server. You just could not transfer it electronically. You had to actually print it out first, and then convert the scan of that printout to an electronic format. So you actually had to have people doing this as part of your team. It was a conscious, multi-step effort. That's espionage, man. That's treason. That's beyond just carelessness. That's an openly defiant act against the American people. It's just not like, she's saying, I just used it a little. No, a lot of people aren't getting it, man. And why is she doing that? Because she's covering stuff up that's going on financially in her favor that she shouldn't be doing as the Secretary of State. Why else do you think somebody would be doing something like that? There's things that she doesn't want anybody to know. So anyway, we shall see. I'm going to have some more updates on something, I think. I got to watch how I say it, though, on another subject, because I know a lot of people that are into this, what's going on with the government and government encroachment and all this kind of garbage. Well, I'm gonna put something out later. I got to think about how I say it, though. I'm not going to be able to tell you everything, though. It's impossible. I can't. I'm not that stupid. But I'm going to tell you something a little later that I think you're going to find fairly interesting about, I don't know, just say some other stuff for now. But anyway, in the meantime, it looks like old Hillary is going down for more than just what meets the surface. She's going to probably go down for high treason. Deliberate act. A deliberate act of espionage and treason against the United States of America. So, go choke on that, lady.